Hey guys, welcome. Can you guys hear me? How are you guys doing? Oh great, thank you David. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. So let's before we start with the topic, maybe a few other people joining in, just a few minutes while we are setting up our match, that we have some sort of gameplay while we talk. So how have you been doing? Oh, I see. Let me see if I can fix that. Just a moment. Yeah, there are some issues with the mic on PS5 actually. Let's see if I can adjust it. Do you think it's better now? Anyway, hope it's better now. I did it slightly lowered the volume of the mic. Maybe that's the issue. Ah, thank you. Glad it sounds better. Right. All right then. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm not sure if everybody can make it that I have tagged in it, but you can always watch the replay, of course. So yeah, so as you know, me and my brother working on our own video game that is called Dragon's Blood. The True Monarchs tournament, to be precise.
Following contest is
Oh.
making her way to the ring from Georgia, Anna J.
I do think I have to lower the volume of the game. Just a moment. But yeah, some of you have seen the updates about it on social media and what they have shown on the characters and such. So yeah, you can ask any questions that you like to ask about it. And in the meantime, I will explain some more details, you know, how it came to be.
From Los Angeles, California, Victoria!
So, and explain more about the details, such as the lore, what we have so far, and the plans for the full game. Hopefully to be released the upcoming year, you know. So that's the main goal. So let me see if I get into the options for the sound. Let's see. Yeah, I have to get back out of the game, as it seems. Yeah, that's... have to go back first to do that, but yeah. I was a huge fan of Soul Calibur, but never got into Tekken. Yeah, Tekken is a bit, for me, I think that the first two games of Tekken were really something. You know, I thought it was also that the characters were really good. I think up to Tekken 3, I will say, I enjoyed these 1 and 2 the most, actually, gameplay-wise, that is. So that was lower the volume. Maybe that's better. So that we have a bit. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, about Tekken, yeah, indeed, I do like Tekken 7, although I had a bit of difficulties to get into the game, but I will say I really love how the fighting mechanics work in that game. It's yeah, I still think that Tekken Tag Tournament is my most favorite one. Because yeah, you have all the characters, of course, but also the combat system. I think it's a really flawless kind of game. But I do understand that for some people it may be a bit too much, if you will. The characters, yeah, I always find them kind of a bit abstract in a way. Some characters. Well, of course, that's yeah, that's something that they have a style of their own, you know, and for some reason, I do think that if we're talking about the story and such, then although Tekken does have a good story in a sense, I think it's the problem is the way how it's being told. If you catch my grip, you know, it's very jarring and things like that. So they actually need to do a better job at that, and especially now Tekken 8, that's way retconned and everything. It was already the case in Tekken 7, but not as much as Tekken 8 now. But yeah, it became a mess, so to speak. So yeah. So I got what you're saying, David. So let's select these, and we can yeah, go back to the conversation about the game. So what we wanted to do for our game is to yeah, this is, by the way, CPU against CPU, so I'm not playing, so that's why I can easier talk and explain the things about the game. So yeah, I actually wanted to make a fighting game on my own with the Unity engine, and yeah, when I spoke to my brother about it, he was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool, you know," and he was already making this game for the phone, which he had a lot of trouble with. For some reason, he couldn't get it working or something, and so he wanted to work with me on a fighting game. And at that time, I didn't really have a concept yet, or I did do some drawings of the characters I like to like to make for in the game. And suddenly, yeah, we were having a dialogue about that. Me and my brother were talking about what the concept should be. So he came up with this premise that it was about a cult, that was worshipping this dragon god, if you will. So from there, I started to visualize, and thought about a great, appealing lore, as a story. So I thought about things that wasn't done before, although, Mortal Kombat was of course a big inspiration, but also games like, for example, fantasy settings, Dragon Age and such. So I took a bit from the things that I loved, into a blender, if you will, and I came up with this very unique concept that is already a big story in itself, but to keep things a bit simple, to explain what it's about. So Dragon's Blood is about this tournament that has been held for some decades already, and it has came to be that when it started, there was this cursed dragon with the name Nox, a Chinese orientated dragon, and he visited this isolated location, which is set in a fictional universe, of course. That these people there were, they were very poor. There was a lot of sickness. People were in bad shape there, and Nox, the dragon, he promised, if the people would help him with something, that he would provide, health and a lot of wealth, to the people. So of course the people were overjoyed, that the dragon wanted to help, but the catch was, of course, that they needed to fulfill the wish of the dragon. And Nox needs, because of the fact that he is cursed, he needs, rage and blood, to survive. Because if he doesn't, then he eventually will also die, because he doesn't get the energy from that. It's a bit hard to explain what I mean to say, but I will be doing some writing about that, so that you can read about it in the game, and also I'm planning some sort of comic, if you will. So that's basically the plot of the story, how it all came to be. So for generations, the tournament was a success for the cult, because many people have been killed by that. It was a lot of dirty fighting with it, but the rule was that the tournament is purely hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, and all fighters in there need to be matured up to 27 years of age, up to late 40 years old, because of their status, to have a black belt and everything, or have that experience to get into. Some fighters are getting invited, and others are getting hired, if you will, some sort of You can say some sort of trap, if you will, because the dragon needs to feed, and so from there you get kind of the grip what it's about. So that's simply the rematch, as we can keep talking about it. Carla is my favorite, 100%. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, David. Yeah, Carla is the character. Let me think. Yeah, she was indeed one of the first characters that I designed. There was also another character named Joyce. She's this fighter pilot. And there was also a male character, Alex, that I have written. We also have a character named Nigel. I still do have to write him for a bit. Then my brother has his own character, a bit of a self-insertion, if you will. That he is the cult leader, if you will. So the losers get fed to the dragon. Yeah, that's what it basically comes down to. Now there is a whole story besides that, because in the Dragon Empire there is some sort of rule that they know about the doings of Nox, and there are some dragons that obviously disapprove those things what he does, but the Dragon Empire is like, listen, the people, the humans, they need to learn not to, how do you say, not to get into the trap, because the tournament, if you get invited or hired or whatever, you are promised to get a lot of money, And the lesson from that is that people need to learn not to buy into that because of the money to get the fame and everything. So it's basically a bit, some sort of morals, if you will, that I kind of wrote into it, so to speak, because it's the same. You have, for example, in Mortal Kombat, they need to save the world from that, so that there's no money involved and such. And I wanted to do something different, so I came up with that system that the fighters are getting, some fighters are driven by that lust to get that money, but are also fighters like Alex and Carla and such, that they are the good guys and want to make use of that money in a positive way, But sadly, that's obviously overruled by the bad guys, so there was actually a lot going on with that. But I said I will write the things down as a story and in a compact way in the comic as well, so you can read about it in the game, also in the comic. So yeah, that's basically the whole concept about the tournament. So what happens with the losers is that when they get killed in the tournament, is that they get their blood, their energy, the rage that they unleash, goes all through the dragon. And that process is kind of horrifying, that only very few know about. Like the character of my brother, he is basically the leader. He knows the horrors of that. And that is how these fighters that are being killed, they are they still being kept alive because of the curse of the dragon as some sort of skeletons. And those skeletons will be featured in the dungeon that you also need to defeat in a separate mode in the game. Now we haven't actually talked about it yet with my brother, so that how we are going to implement it. But from my understanding, he wants to make that some sort of mode within that in the game. So but we talk about that when we get there, of course. Let's see. I hope that answers your question, Dave. If you have more questions, then let me know. So, what was there also I want to talk about? Yeah. So, as you know, that the early characters, yeah, spooky, scary skeletons. Yeah, that's that's basically how we can call it. Yeah, so we basically started with the simple, AI samples, some were drawn by me that we implemented into the Meshi program, so that we got the models ready to get used as on starting point, But we were thinking about how we can realize them as these fully rigged models, and we got back and forth with that. We were constantly looking for programs that fitted us, and then we came up to that program that we're using now that's called character creation. And in that program you can do anything basically what you like to create. If you want to make a character that looks like, I don't know, Lara Croft or something, then you can do that if you like to. Obviously we wanted to create our own style, which is a bit realistic / semi-realistic. So, you had a good question, David. Yeah, I got a question. Is Carla a fast character, a grappler or zoner? No, Carla is actually a pretty fast character because she does have a black belt in karate and taekwondo. So she is really, really fast-paced in that. Now, because of the fact that she is a woman, she is less powerful, but she knows how to handle that. To search for the weak spot into the of the enemies he fights against. And it's the same kind of thing that you have, for example, with Mortal Kombat, with the extremes. That you as a human be enough to fight off this extreme monster, if you will. That's actually a bit what inspired me to do the same. Although all characters are just human, so they have no magical powers or anything. So, but some of them are extremely strong, like Ace, for example, the boxer that we have. Yeah, he is a nut job. He uses all sorts of drugs and injections to get stronger. That's he's a very dirty player, if you know what I mean. So that's what makes it, troublesome for the good guys. Let me have a sip of my drink real quick. Yeah, so yeah, that's the info about Carla. So yeah, Carla's very fast-paced in that sense, yeah. And she and Alex are both friends of each other because Alex trained in the same dojo as the parents' dojo of Carla. Carla comes from a martial arts family, if you will. So that's how she got into that from as a kid. And besides that, Carla is also a model, also a guitarist in a metal band, some sort of symphonic metal band. And I hope, if it works, that at that time that we can also do some, can look around for a certain band who can write a song or two for to feature in the game or something. But that's something that I have to look into. That does need to how that actually works. if we can do that with the licenses and everything. So it needs to be an indie band. Yeah, I saw a question, but let's. Well, I thought it was a question, but yeah. So I said it's a fictional universe. So everything from our own universe does not exist. So, for example, as Carla is a model, there is no such thing as, how you say, the temptation websites that we have here, what I'm talking about, the spicy ones, those are not existent in that universe at all. It is a bit an evaluation of the 80s and the 90s, you can say, the early 2000s, but there is a higher tech system there. There is also some sort of quote-unquote social media, but it's nothing in the likes that what we have, So there are mobile phones and things like that, but it's nothing not in from what we know. And I always decide to go for these things because I simply want to create a universe of my own that if you always choose an existing, realistic world, then it's not. I don't think that's appealing at all, because you always have to keep yourself within the rules, of the you have to reflect the world as it is. Excuse me. And that's not what I like to do. I like to create a fantasy world of my own, even though it's it has some similarities here and there, but still to create my own universe. Let me select a character real quick. Let's see. So yeah, what else to talk about? A few things that I also wanted to say. Just a moment. Yeah. So I hope that it's a bit clear about the universe in itself. So yeah, we have the story so much worked out, there's still some things that need to be written. So Carla is basically established. I think that Alex and Ace are also established now in the writing. So we also have a character named Lance that is basically the Bruce Lee. He also has this very interesting backstory what he has with Ace, as these two are the rivals of each other, like Ryu and Sagat from Street Fighter, Lance is obviously the good guy. Let's see in the chat. Have you ever played Doa? Yeah, of course I played Doa. Yep. I actually really like Dead or Alive 6, while that is the most favorite in the community. I don't know why, but I really think that it is an excellent game. So yeah, Dead or Alive, when I got older, I do started to appreciate the game a bit more because of the fact that Tekken has totally gone to, yeah, how do I say this? It's no longer a game for the fans. It's for the new generation, while there are still similarities there from the classic games, too much has changed. Anna has been totally being unrecognizable anymore because she now has this bazooka, that she uses in the fights that I just don't like at all. And of course, you have these Gen Z players that are defending it. It's all a big mess with the Tekken community. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking game and it has really fun, things that you still can enjoy, but it's just no longer the game as it's supposed to be, and it's a shame. Now, of course, the same goes with the other games as well, but I think that the Tekken in that sense is actually starting to get the more worse one in the fighting games. When it comes to the mechanics and things, and also story-wise, it's just it doesn't make much sense anymore. But the question to you, Dave, if you're still watching, what does, if you want to to play a fighting game, what is the reason that you decide to want to play it? Are there the characters that you immediately get drawn by, or do you first want to know more about the story, or what is it? Because that's kind of fascinates me. Now, for me, for example, it was always Mortal Kombat because I like the characters and their aesthetics, but also the lore. I feel that Mortal Kombat had the best lore from the classic games. Still to date, it's really appealing, and the characters' backgrounds and everything. It just fits perfectly. I mean, John Tobias from the classic games, he knew how to write story and characters. So, David, I saw Zangief and fell in love with Street Fighter. I always loved big, bulky grapplers. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. I love bot coming from Guilty Gear. I have to look into that. Yeah, but that's... Now, obviously, Ace is the biggest character that we have. He is really bulked up, because of the steroids and everything. So he is basically as monstrous as you can get in the game. But who knows, we gonna have some weirdos coming along. David says Ganondorf and Asteroid from Soul Calibur, Ganondorf from Super Smash. Okay. I don't know that character yet, I have to look into that. That's definitely interesting that you like these characters. Yeah, I was always more drawn by the humanoid characters the most, actually. Although I did really liked Alex the dinosaur, the raptor, that you had in Tekken 2. I thought it was pretty funny. Because at that time it was the age of when the Jurassic Park movies came along. That was really cool to see that. And then my brother, when he was little, he loved Gon from Tekken 3. That was pretty funny. So yeah, that's. By the way, this game has some really cool angles during the match. You can also pause it and everything, and yeah. But anyway. So yeah, that's basically I think that I told the most things that I wanted to tell about the game. So let's see what is more to tell. Yeah, so for the game we're using Unreal Engine 5, which is the best one that we can handle. Now my computer, although it's more powerful than my brother has, I don't have the right graphic card yet to get the full potential. So my brother is the one who does most of the programming for that, because I do have problems with getting the characters into Unreal. So for my brother that works perfectly fine, so that's what he's basically doing, as I'm doing the designs, as he does most of the programming. So hopefully in the upcoming year we'll be able to upgrade my system and to help him out with these things as well, so that we can go full steam ahead with the game. Now our brother is aiming for the end of the year, maybe, or beginning of the year, to release the demo. And as the demo goes, we will work on the game further to get it released, and we also want to keep updating the game instead of making sequels, because we think that sequels are basically pointless, unless there is a real reason to that you need to switch from an engine or such, or you want to do more details and things. Yeah, then that's another story. But so far we want to keep things as grounded as possible, And I think that from what we have made so far with the characters, everybody is in the wow factor, Everybody loves it, how it already looks. So I'm already happy with that. And if it comes on the whole pricing for the game, we thought about $40, for the game itself, for the full game, And from there you get later updates for just a couple of coin, nothing too expensive. So, we're doing this because we love to make video games, and hope to expand on that more, so that we, can make more awesome games. We think it's very important for us that you can feel the love when you're playing it, for what we had, the love for making these games. That's very important to me as well. Because if you play now, the AAA games are all factory-based, they all work with regulations. And besides the politics, there was so much more wrong with modern games. Like, the writing is all over the place, if you play an RPG game, there's nothing that excites you to play through the end, awful dialogue sequences. There are some exceptions here and there on the rule, but mostly it comes from the indie section, Indie games is where you really need to be these days. So yeah, hopefully that the things about the game and the lore, the characters are a bit more, clear for you guys now. But if there are any questions, you can always hit me up on social media. We can go back to that when I do another live stream again. I will also do separate videos about the game itself, because when it comes out, the demo comes out and things like that, there will be a channel as well, so that we can promote it. My brother already has some sort of promoter arranged, because my brother is also a music producer, so he knows the drill, how these things work. So that's cool, the more, we have that covered, the better, so yeah. So yeah, so we basically talked about everything that I wanted to cover. So basically, yeah, that's about it. And if there was anything else, you have to find me. And I want to thank you for joining in. And yeah, I hope you're looking forward to the game as we do to release it. I mean, that we already came this far with the game was something that we could never think about. It's a real passion how really attached you get to your own characters. I mean, if you guys love it, then that means that we have done a good job. And that's of course what it's about. I mean, yeah, sure, we have to make characters that we like, but you also have to like it yourself, and that's why I always find it important to write each character with care. Design them with care. So yeah, Lance was a character that my brother came up, and Ace as well. So I basically designed Carla, Joyce, Alex, and Nigel. But Nigel is a character that we need to get into as well. But anyway, more characters to come, of course, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks again for joining, and peace out.